What's up, everybody? It's your boy Gino. We are here on the beautiful Harris chain of lakes located in Central Florida. I know you're looking at me thinking, I don't see you on the water, brother. I am. I'm in the only tackle shop, Lakeside Bait and Tackle, located on the water. There's no other tackle shop that is physically on the water. This is the place to be. Mark and Heidi Bass run this tackle shop. They're both extremely involved in the fishing community. Mark Bass is actually a local guide here. So if you're new to the area, if you're coming down for a tournament, or you're local, this is the place to stop, right? They're a wealth of knowledge on the chain and love to help you out. So let's get into a little bit about what's going on the chain right now. It's mid-January. We just came through some nasty cold fronts. We had a spawn the end of December. It kind of was the perfect storm leading up to the full moon. We had a warming trend, and that's exactly what's going down right now, right? We got 8 or 10 days of warm weather coming up to the full moon. Our water temperatures are in the high 50s right now, even 60 degrees in some locations on the chain. So look to target the mouths of these canals. Look for shallow shell bars, 4 to 6 foot of water, eelgrass, peppergrass, in that 6 foot of water depth range. Lake Griffin is really popping off right now. If you go to the northwest corner of Lake Griffin, you'll find tons of spawning canals there. Make your focus on the ditches that run just outside those spawning canals and those bonnets, and you'll find both pre and post spawn fish there staging to pull in, as well as fish roaming these canals. If you change your focus over, still staying on the north end of the lake, you'll find tons of hydrilla, tons of eelgrass and peppergrass outside of Haynes Creek, the Yale Marsh, the Yale Canal, and Haynes Creek Marsh as well. Those are great areas to target those pre and post spawn fish. Look to target those fish with lipless crankbaits, square bills, jerk baits. Swimming an old worm, right? The old Florida swim bait, right? A speed worm. Peg that speed worm with a light weight. May have to go up according to the wind, and swim it around, and you will not be let down. I can assure you of that. It's a great time of year. You can catch fish deep and shallow. You have fish that have already spawned because it's last spawn. You have fish pulling up the spawn, and it can be very tricky for some guys because these fish are constantly on the move. Do not get frustrated, right? When you run into these fish, you're going to run into a big school of fish. They're super aggressive. I like to target my deeper fish with a deep diving crankbait. Something like this 5XD is perfect. You can fish this particular crankbait in 8 to 14 foot of water. I really like it in that 10 to 12 foot of water depth range. When you get into these canals on the chain, a great way to target them is a prop bait, right? Old school Florida top water, double prop bait, or frog. Those are great ways to target fish in these canals. If you're going to want to opt for a soft plastic in the canals, make sure that you go down to a lighter weight, like an 1/8 ounce sinker. You're going to find a ton of sediment, gunk, snot moss on the bottom. So you're going to do a lot better with a lightweight bait. If you plan on fishing the canals, turn your focus to hard spots. Look for trees, look for spatter dock, look to find those denser clumps of lily pads to pitch those baits around with. As far as being fishing grass, one of the best ways to target bass in Florida is going to be a lipless crankbait like this red-eyed shad. Opt for a shad color. That's the best way to go. I mean, obviously you can catch them on gold, you can catch them on red, right? But if you just need a place to start and you know you want to get bites, shad color, right? Something chrome blue, sexy shad, chrome black. They'll never let you down, I promise. That is a great way to target these fish. And another way that the people are finding a lot of success right now are swim baits, right? It's the winter time of year, our water temps are low. Swim baits are a great option. I prefer to fish these swim baits on a open jig head. That 4.75 to 5-inch swim bait seems to be the money this time of year. You can throw a little bit larger and a little bit smaller and get away with it, but you're gonna find a ton of success with this size. I promise you won't go wrong. They have a huge supply here at Lakeside right now, and both the 4.75 and the 5-inch from Zoom. Both of these swim baits are incredible. In fact, I just finished the top 20 in the BFL, and that Rage swimmer right there played a huge part in me rounding out my limit, and those fish made it to the scale. You're gonna find better quality fish. Now, as far as bed fishing goes, right? Whether you're fishing beds that you can see or you're fishing beds that you can't see, the Jungle Menace is an absolute killer on the chain. They have a huge supply here in the tackle shop. You cannot go wrong. It is very versatile. You can fish it on a chatterbait. You can fish it on a swim jig. You can fish a Texas rig. You can throw it on your sea rig. You can throw it on top of shell bars. It is an absolute killer on the chain. And you know, when you're coming down to Florida, you're coming to a tackle shop, look for those things you don't see everywhere else, right? This is not a bait you're not gonna find everywhere else. There's a reason it's here, right? The local sticks know that this is the juice. Come and check them out. They got it here in the shop. As far as the lakes go, right now, Griffin's 38 hot. Harris is really hot. You're gonna find a lot of guys that are gonna be bunched up in the grass down from 27 over to 9th Street Canal. FWC did some spraying out there, but look for the fresh grass. That's gonna be what you're gonna wanna target for those offshore schools of fish. Another option, a huge deal here in Florida, the old Florida swim bait, right? AKA speed worm. They got them in bitters. They also offer them in Zoom. They have an insane supply of Zoom soft plastics right here. You cannot be on the chain without one of these, right? If there was one bait I had to take, and you said, Gino, you can only have one bait, this is gonna be the bait right here. It's gonna be a Zoom vibe tail. It's gonna be bitters vibe tail. You can fish it like a topwater, weightless. You can fish it Texas rig. You can pitch it to spawning fish. You can fish it on a Carolina rig. You can cut the tail off, right? I cut it midsection, throw it on the back of my chatterbait. I'll throw it on the back of my swim jig. This is a huge deal. Peg it, fish it through grass, fish it in open water. It is a great way to target Florida bass. You gotta have it in your boat. It is a must have. A huge overlooked technique on the chain, or color I should say, is red. Red is so hot this time of year. Cincos are fantastic this time of year. When you get those cold snaps that come through and you get finicky fish, Cinco is a must have in the boat. It's another lure you have to have. Red is a super hot color on this chain. It's a big secret. Nobody ever wants to talk about it. They got it, right? So, as far as lakes go, like I said, Harris, Big Harris, you're gonna find tons of grass from 27 over to 9th Street Canal. There's tons of limestone. You're gonna find a lot of sediment in the lake. If you can find hard spots, that's a great place to target. Tons of shell bars. Generally, when you find that eelgrass or peppergrass, it's gonna be on humps. Look for shell around there. Throw a Carolina rig around those shell bar. Focus around the islands. Look around the 19 bridge. If you run south into Little Harris, you'll find a ton. The hydrilla is back. They torched it a few months back. Guess what? It's back. Outside the spawning canals, it's there. Target that with that red-eyed shad, with that lipless crankbait. Swim that worm around there. You're gonna find big success. You're gonna find, you might be out there for 2 or 3 hours to find where they're at. These fish are gonna be concentrated. They're gonna be schooled up, but you're gonna have a ton of success if you stick with it. You do not get deterred, right? Throw that, I promise you, throw that speed worm on and start swimming it around. And don't think, oh, maybe they're not eating a speed worm today. Maybe they're not eating lipless today. Just stick with one technique in that area and focus and keep moving until you find those fish. When you find them, it can be extremely rewarding this time of year. You're gonna see a big disparity in bags, tournament bags, right? You're gonna see guys that have 26 pounds and then second place is gonna have 14 pounds. Those guys with 26 pounds, those are the guys that stuck with it, stayed focused, they didn't get spun out, they're not changing to a million different techniques, they're doing something they know that works, and they're gonna find that school of fish, and it can be extremely rewarding. Those guys, you can have the best day of your life on the water this time of year. It's a great time to fish. So if there's any questions, there's any techniques, you feel like there's anything that I missed, leave it down in the comments section. If there's a particular technique or tactics you'd like me to go over, again, leave it in the comments section, direct message me. I'd love to put out some more content for you. Until next time, everybody, stay tuned and tight lines.